So I've been holding off doing any kind of patch notes videos, and to be completely honest with you, this is off script, because all the other videos I like being able to go into my scripts, I like being able to write them down, make them as professional as I can for you. But when it comes to this kind of video, when it comes to patch notes, especially with how often we've been getting them from Lightning Games for Outpost Infinity Siege, I think this means that we've had a patch a day for the last 8 days, which is kind of insane to me. We can't even see a patch come through for Call of Duty within like a month, and yet Lightning Games are absolutely smashing it out every single day. They have put a lot of work into this game, and honestly, hats off to them. It really has been the case. But the main reason why I didn't want to do like patch notes videos, to be able to cover everything that's like tiny little changes and things like that, is one, because it's a little bit monotonous. I didn't want that to be the main focus of my content for the channel, and two, because, you know, it would essentially be that, you know, we have no idea as to how often we were going to be getting patch notes and all that, and by the sounds of things, we're actually going to start seeing the end of it being a daily trend, so, you know, we've just got that to factor in now. But I think what they've done so far is pretty good for the game. It's definitely very healthy. When something like where the game was last week compared to where it is right now, it's so much more accessible. There's so many more features just kind of clicking into place and everything like that. Genuinely feels like an amazing game right now, and honestly, if you were holding off last week and you wanted to see where the position is right now is the perfect time to be able to get back into it, because it genuinely has so much more going for it. But you know, enough about that. You wanted to be able to talk about the patch notes, and there are a couple of things in here that are absolutely huge for the game, and in fact one in general when it comes to accessibility is massive. It genuinely feels like it's going to shape the game, and I think it's going to be making it so much more better as like a community. We already have a great community for Outpost Infinity Siege. Thank you so much for all the views that you've been doing on the channel so far. Genuinely has warmed my heart being able to see all those just kind of like trickling in, but being able to see how the community interacts with my videos, as well as how they interact over on the official Discord, it's just crazy good. I genuinely love like how close-knit the community is, and I genuinely feel like it's in a great place there as well. So you know, hats off to you, hats off to everyone for that's being able to help make that very inclusive. But this is just going to take it to a whole new level. So let's start by going through the patch notes. I'll read the majority of it. I won't stop. I won't take up too much time with every single line or anything like that. But the ones that I do want to focus on, I will be taking a couple of minutes just to be able to talk further. So let's start heading our way through the patch notes that were disclosed yesterday. So obviously I am a little bit behind the curve, so you will have already downloaded this patch already, so you will already have this in-game right now, so you may have already seen some of the changes. But let's go through some of the crucial updates. So the first is players can check the turret's firing radius by selecting in command mode. This is huge. I genuinely love this feature, and you can easily see as to what, because what it used to be before is that you can configure all the turrets that you have, every single one of your bases, every single one that you have as deployables, every single one, just basically all the Titan spikes, everything like that. Everything had a firing radius attached to it, anything that could do damage anyway, and you were able to go into configs in the majority of them, apart from Titan spikes, to be able to set what kind of range they should be engaging from, and it was just an arbitrary number. It was just a number and a bar that existed, and you were just like, oh, well, I don't know what range this is actually going to tackle threats. I don't know if this is going to be effective. Like, I'm just playing a guessing game. I'm just comparing a number against another number. We don't know what the units were that were inside the engine, and now we have a visual guide for us to be able to do it. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't automatically update as you start adjusting that slider. It doesn't do anything until you click confirm, but if you're in command mode and you're doing that config from there, it will automatically update as soon as you click confirm, so you can get an idea as to what kind of radius that's going to be firing in. Now, obviously, Titan spikes are unaffected. They don't have a config, but you can see everything from MG turrets. You can see what 5,000 units are. You can see in terms of like the artillery, how far they are able to fire. You can adjust your CIWS, etc, etc. You can basically fine-tune things so much more now, and so much more accessible. It genuinely is such a great feature, and honestly, as soon as you notice this, you'll absolutely love it. I genuinely think this is going to be the best way to be able to configure our bases, and yeah, I'm so happy that Lightning have actually added this in. So now we have an idea as to what kind of numbers there are, and this is going to help us out with our base building, trying to get everything min-maxed. So the next of the crucial updates is going to be the brand new feature of Outpost sharing. Now, this does have a tag against it saying beta, but essentially I think they're just trying to make sure that this works before they implement something that's a little bit better as a system, because how it is right now, it works, but it's a little bit finicky. I'm expecting them to be able to just start working with the community on this one to try and get it right and to get it into a healthy place, something that's much more accessible than it currently is. Not that it can't be done, it definitely can be. It's just purely a case of it's a bit awkward, to say the least. based, it would be much better for us to be able to like generate an actual code or something like that, something that's a little bit shorter than what we actually get. But to be completely honest with you, I understand how much code there's got to be in that to be able to get every single bit of data, depending on how they're doing that code thing. But essentially with this, you're able to go into your outpost, you're able to manufacture your own outpost. You can then save that as a template, you can download that, and you can pass that over to anyone that you want to be able to send it to. Now, anyone can pretty much download this copy. They can use the code that's inside that text file. They just have to have it onto their clipboard. They then go into the game, they then do the import, and the game will then figure that out, and it will be able to sort it out. Now, there is going to be a couple of nuances here. You do need to be able to check what ATC level you are, just to make sure that you have a large enough base to then be able to transfer that original outpost across for. So you've just got to be mindful about what save file you get, because if you're trying to download a min-max one that someone's already managed to go to all the way to, I think it's level 9 or maybe even further, when it comes to their ATC, and they've already got like their cruiser cannons and everything like that. If you're trying to do that as a relatively new to mid kind of level player, it's not going to work for you. It's not going to do anything for you. So you just need to be able to find a collection of bases that are basically anywhere between ATC 1 all the way up to ATC whatever it is, but I think it's 9, to just basically transfer across. Every single time that you go up an ATC level, you can then download a brand new base, and you can use these as all several different templates. You have so many save files when it comes to your layouts, so you can just go back and forth between whichever base you want to be able to use. Obviously, the higher your ATC level, the more bases that you can transfer across, because you don't have to be the exact same ATC level to be able to use them. So anything that's your ATC level and below, you can download those and you can use those. So obviously ATC is always going to be the most important thing to be able to get leveled up when it comes to research, but honestly, I absolutely love the idea of this feature. I genuinely love the import build thing. So my Discord hasn't been seen before now. It's something I've been working on a little bit in the background, but admittedly, ever since Outpost Infinity Siege kind of came onto the scene, I've primarily put all my focus into there. So it is going to be a work in progress, but there is going to be a dedicated channel over there for you to be able to import your own saves over to there. You can send your own loadouts so other people can actually use your outpost, but you can also get some files from other people in the community as well. So I just wanted to make it a very friendly place. I wanted to make it so that you can go back and forth between every person's base. I've made it so that there is a format that you do need to be able to follow, and I've also made it a little bit fun so you can actually name your own base and put a little bit of description if you want to in there as well. But essentially you can give people an idea as to what base they want to be able to use, and if yours is currently tackling snow levels like ridiculously easy, it doesn't have a problem, it's just pretty much a breeze, you can put that in there, and anyone that's having difficulty with that level can go in there, they can download that base, and then they can start working towards it as well. So I think this is going to help us out. I think it's going to help bring some of those newer players up to speed in terms of being able to get to grips with their own base, and then from that they can then make their own template and they can understand how that base performs, basically what they need to be able to do for some of these more advanced kind of base building tips as well. So genuinely absolutely love this update, and I honestly think this is probably one of the better things they actually could have done for this game in terms of longevity. So it's great to see that it's come out of the gates like this hot. It's just kind of great. So yeah, if you do have any bases that you're willing to share with the community, or if you're looking for some base or outpost help, then make sure to head over to the Discord link that's in the video description below, and then you'll be able to head over there, have a look into one of the chat files there, and then you'll be able to download that text file and just get yourself going. So those are the biggest changes. Those are going to be the most notable things that you're going to be coming into the game and seeing. And honestly, if the patch was just those two, it's already in a monumental kind of patch, but we have got a few other changes that we're going to be able to see here. So in terms of like general, we've got horizontal camera movement when it comes to edit outpost, just a little bit here. We've also got the ability to be able to hold E, which are interact button, to be able to auto pick up items that are nearby. So if you're sick of spamming the E button to be able to pick everything up that's nearby, especially in some of those little POIs where there's just things littered here, there, and everywhere, you can just research that, hold E, and then you'll be able to pick up everything there. Items collected by Gatherer, which is a drill that costs power or fuel, can go directly into your backpack. Artillery shells cause higher damage to environmental objects. Added new crates from envoys, which require envoys keycards to be able to open. You'll most notably get one of these keycards from the Death Cubes or the nightclub or whatever you want to be able to call it. But essentially you'll find a couple of these crates just dotted around. It is a little bit finicky in terms of like what actually comes in these. I've only opened one so far and I managed to get a surplus of gold. It wasn't a massive amount. I think it was about like 100 or something like that. But I have noticed that there are a few people in the community that have opened these up with their golden keycard, and they've got absolutely nothing inside. So don't hold your hopes up too much in terms of like what you're going to be able to get out of this. It is going to be pretty much a mystery. It could be anything. So, you know, keep that in mind. It's not really necessary for you to be able to go find one of those keycards, but you've got that to do. Hold F to skip the cutscene within a second. This is going to be a great thing from me, because being able to hold down F, what it felt like was anywhere between 5 to 10 seconds to skip cutscenes, and it was just kind of nutty. If I want to be able to skip a cutscene, I've made that decision. I don't need to be able to hold it down for an extended period of time, so we're able to get past that a little bit faster. Extended the duration of the text prompt when obtaining a new item for the first time, so that's going to be the little like text box that floats up on the right hand side when you pick up something that's got question marks, so you've got that as well. Optimize the drop rate of the machine gun turret components in Woodland, so we're going to start seeing a few more MG turrets being easier to be able to obtain, so that's going to be good to see. So if you need to be able to farm MG turret, Woodland is going to be the main place to be able to go. Optimize the loot drop from safe, so we're going to start seeing a few higher quality things being able to drop from there. Reduce the backpack occupation of all cataphract beacons, which is great, because for something that was so small, it was able to take up so much space in your backpack. It was kind of nutty, so that's good to see. And added performance warning pop-up for some Windows versions. As for the rest of the things, I'm going to start picking and choosing, because, like I said, there are so many lines, but I do want to be able to get this video done. So recovery drones will no longer attract chasers. This is huge, because, let's be completely honest with you, it's really, really annoying to be able to get chasers, especially those ones with rocket pods that are able to knock you down and start dropping all your loot. So the fact that we can now use our recovery drone to be able to extract some stuff safely out of there is great to be able to see. There was no real reason as to why it was attracting chasers in the first place, as far as I'm aware. I don't think it really gave us a warning, so it's good to see that being like to be able to get that ridden off. In terms of like enemies, decrease the damage of Cronus' cruiser cannon to operatives. If this is the one that I'm thinking of, this managed to one-shot my operative that had over 1,000 HP and still all their armor left, so that potentially would be a way to be able to get around that. And then also the nebulas in the underground section, which is where the elevator is for the town school POI, will now chase after and attack players inside the elevator. Most of the people that were able to cheese this were able to, as soon as they activated the elevator, run straight forward, and the nebulas were not able to get to them and do anything about it, so we've not got that cheese anymore, so that's just kind of good to see. It's a little, it just kind of gets rid of a little bit of the jankiness inside the level. In terms of like characters though, we've got a couple of nice things here. So the force field from Hair Squad now works on the enemy's tanks' Gatling guns. This is great. This is going to give us a little bit more viability with Hair Squad. There was no real reason as to why the tank was able to shoot through us when the force field is designed to be able to stop bullets, and their tanks are pretty much one of the main enemies that uses bullets. It's a bit weird, but hey ho, it's glad to see that's got fixed. And then lastly, the one I want to talk about there is going to be the optimize the pickup performance of such items, such as ores. Ores were kind of really, really awkward. You had to find the perfect pixel to be able to pick them up off the floor sometimes. So it's good to see that they've seen that and they've addressed that as well. There is one that I do want to talk about, lastly, on the bug fixation one, which has got 37 lines, for God's sake. You know, the amount of bugs that they are squashing is kind of nutty, but the one that I do want to focus on is number 5, and that's going to be around the pack mules that can now get onto the emergency aircrafts together. The idea behind this one is that people were finding that they weren't too sure if it was intentional or if it was a bug or anything like that, that they could bring the pack mules onto the extraction, the aircraft, and to be able to then loot, so like take their loot out with them. So now this has been addressed so that the pack mules can be used in that way, they can be used in that sense, so then now you can actually extract a few more items. The one thing that I will say in regards to this though is the fact that if you do use it in Infinity Siege mode, it doesn't seem to work, or at least it hasn't for myself. I've tried doing this on 2 to 3 occasions now. I've put some loot, not my best loot, I have put some loot inside of pack mules. I brought them onto the aircraft and I've never seen those stuff ever come through ever again. So maybe it's just purely Infinity Siege mode, it could just be that. I haven't tried this out on tour mode, but feel free to let me know in the comment section down below if you've managed to get this to work for you. But the idea is that this should now be working, and it's something that they're intending to bring in as if it's like an intended kind of interaction, rather than something that was a bit buggy or no one really knew if it was intended or not. But there we go, that wraps it up on the patch notes. That pretty much covers everything in terms of like the main things that I wanted to be able to talk about when it comes to this massive patch. There is going to be a PTR, a public test realm, to be able to test out, going to be like experiments or like potential future updates in there before it affects the live game. So I believe there is some kind of sign up. If I can find the link, I will make sure to put it down in the comment section below, or maybe even the video description. So if I can find that, I will put it there for you. So if you are interested, have a look at that and have a check out. But it's crazy to see how like they're kind of looking to be able to expand this game so rapidly as well. This game has been out like what, almost 9 days, and they've already been able to push out this much content to ourselves. It's great to see. Now, obviously, there is a bit of an argument to say why couldn't this have made the main launch, but I think they've approached this the right way around. I think they've managed to get it out to the masses, see what's working, see what didn't, see if there's anything that they like is a problem when it's en masse, and then they've managed to squash pretty much most of it, and then they've added in extra functionality, and they've kind of spoiled us with that. So it's great to see. I'm looking forward to the future of what Outpost Infinity Siege is going to be bringing us. But like I said, this is a bit unscripted. I will be bringing out plenty more content going forward. You'll probably see a lot more from me in terms of like later this week as well as next week. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of this patch note? What do you think of the Outpost sharing? Do you think it's a great feature, or do you think it's something that's only half baked? And then let me know what your current thoughts are when it comes to the turret's firing radius. Do you think there's any more kind of like functionality they should be adding in when it comes to that commander mode? As I said near the start of the video, there is going to be a link to the Discord in the video description below to be able to head over so you can start sharing your Outpost templates, as well as be able to download some in case you need a little bit of help. Of course, it would be lovely to be able to see you over there. I will be interacting pretty much on a daily basis, so if you want to be able to speak with me a little bit more often, or if you want to catch up or just have a discussion about Outpost Infinity Siege, then that's going to be the best place to catch me. With all that being said though, that just seems to me to say, keep yourself safe, keep yourselves well, and I'll see you all on the next video.